station working for you. This is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
And now at 7, a family is calling on the public for help to find who killed their 16-year-old son. The teen was shot at a party on the east side last month. WRTV's Stephanie Wade shares their plea tonight.
16-year-old Braden Shiflett was one of 3 teens shot at a party on the east side on July 11th. His father asking detectives every day for an update on this case to find out who killed his son.
This feels like, that there's not going to be any justice. It feels like it's almost feeling like swept under the rug, so to speak, I guess, because there's so many other things going on in the world and the city.
Nearly 2 months and still no answers as to who killed Braden Shiflett. The teen was allegedly shot at a party near 24th and North Sheridan. His family now losing hope they'll ever find out what happened that night. His father, James Shiflett, tells me Braden was a smart young boy who liked to play basketball and was part of the Christian group Young Life at North Central High School. They hope someone will come forward with information for police.
I just want somebody to speak up because I don't want anybody else to have to go through this, especially to not know why and what reason there is behind not having your child with you anymore.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
We are waiting to hear back from the detective working this case. In the meantime, if you have any information that might help, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. Local USPS workers say your mail is being delayed like never before, and some trucks are leaving empty. Nearly every morning, trucks leave the Indianapolis post office on South Street. But Indiana postal workers say because of the new cost-cutting measures put in place by the U.S. Postmaster General, trucks are not full like they should be. The newly appointed postmaster mandated that every truck keep to its schedule, even if empty. It's meant to improve efficiency and reduce overtime and extra trips. WRTV Investigates reached out to the Postal Service, which said, quote, on-time transportation has gone up from 89% to 97% in a few weeks, end quote. And checking in now, Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory on what our week is going to look like after such a great weather weekend, Kevin.
It feels a little different. I think you've noticed that. The humidity is back in the picture. And let me say this, I saw my first woolly worm over the weekend. Even though I was driving the speed limits, I was still driving too quickly to get a good look at it, so I don't have any details. Keep your eye out for the woolly worm. Keep your eye out for some showers and thunderstorms basically tomorrow and on Wednesday. Temperatures have been sitting upper 70s to lower 80s. We made it to 84 in Indianapolis today. There's a shower on the northeast side up toward Geist, Castleton area. It's kind of by itself. You see a couple of other sprinkles northeast of Greensburg and south of Rushville. For any more widespread activity, which will benefit us because it's been so dry, you have to wait until tomorrow. Temperatures tonight, they'll work their way down to 73 by midnight tonight. Some patchy fog around when we get started tomorrow morning. Temperature of about 67 degrees. We'll talk about much cooler air as we go into the Labor Day weekend. That's coming up in just a bit.
The United States has now surpassed 6 million coronavirus cases since the pandemic began. Here in Indiana, the State Department of Health reported an additional 897 positive cases and 5 deaths between the 29th and the 30th. The state's 7-day positivity rate from August 18th to last Monday was 6.9%. According to the Regent Street Institute, 12% of Hoosiers who have had coronavirus have been hospitalized. 79.5% have recovered. Today, IU Bloomington placed 6 more Greek houses on its quarantine list, bringing the total to 14 out of the school's 69 Greek organizations. For 14 days, in-person organizational activities are banned. This comes as millions of students return to college classrooms across the country, only to be quarantined once COVID cases increase. ABC's Rowena Puga has more from North Carolina.
Amid signs that in the U.S. new coronavirus cases may be slowing, students returning to college campuses are facing new outbreaks. Dr. Deborah Burks is warning students who become sick to stay where they are.
Do not return home if you're positive and spread the virus to your family, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents.
Governor Andrew Cuomo is sending a team of testers and tracers to address the issue. The governor also raising concern over what these outbreaks mean for younger students, saying what we're seeing in colleges, we're going to see in the K-12 setting. At Georgia Tech, the number of new cases more than doubled in 8 days, jumping from 252 to 705. Students have only been back in class for 2 weeks. And the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, now with over 1,000 cases despite canceling in-person classes. The closure impacting the town financially.
We are intertwined with the university. That is the lifeblood of our economy here.
Also in North Carolina, many chain gyms say they plan to reopen this week, citing a medical loophole that allows for gyms to be used for medical purposes. This despite Governor Roy Cooper's executive order to keep gyms closed. California, meantime, becoming the first state to surpass 700,000 infections. Only 4 countries have reported more cases: the U.S., Brazil, India, and Russia. And in the sports world, a U.S. Open tennis player tested positive as the tournament gets underway today.
You know, it is unfortunate we had a player test positive yesterday, but it's not unexpected.
The other competitors will be playing in an empty stadium with no fans. The athletes and coaches will reside in a bubble, being tested twice in the first 48 hours and then every 4 days. In North Carolina, Romina Puga, ABC News.
An investigation is underway in Bloomington after 2 minority organizations at IU say they were racially targeted. The incident happened over a Zoom call as the organizations were trying to recruit new members. WRTV's Troy Washington explains what went wrong and what the university is doing to address those concerns.
I was like, do you see these comments, what they're saying?
NAACP members couldn't believe their eyes or ears as they watched and listened during a Zoom meeting.
It just really sucked for both of our orgs because we were just trying to get our name out there and just tell the incoming freshmen, like, you know what our org is about, and we couldn't even do that.
Jenny Coleman is a junior at IU Bloomington. She's also the NAACP secretary.
And not only did it happen to NAACP, but it happened to another Black organization as well called Campus Quarrels and Coils.
By it, she means students mocking the Black Lives Matter movement. WRTV has blurred the comments because they aren't appropriate for broadcast. We also can't let you hear the recordings now circulating on Twitter of people making fun of the words, "I can't breathe," one of the last statements George Floyd made before dying.
We did have some students that did want to learn about NAACP, but they felt uncomfortable as well, so they start leaving the Zoom call on their own. But with everything going on now, I do feel like that was like another reason why people felt comfortable just coming into our Zoom meetings about it. And I kind of felt like they didn't think we were really going to do anything about it, like report it to the school.
But both organizations say they aren't letting this go. In fact, the university says they aren't taking it lightly either.
I just wanted the people that did do this just to know that they didn't hurt our org. If anything, they made us stronger and want us to continue to go harder and everything. But IU is working on it right now, and it's going to get handled.
Working for you in Bloomington, Troy Washington, WRTV.
In a statement posted to Twitter, the university's superintendent for public safety says the racist aggressive action through Zoom is unacceptable. University police and the university's information technology service are now trying to identify the people who were involved. And one of the ways to move forward and heal from racism can be supporting Black people, businesses, and culture. WRTV has shared many stories of these past months of growing Black-owned businesses in our community. Studies show banks and credit unions often hinder growth by discriminating against minorities who seek small business loans. And where some choose not to march as a form of protest, they choose to use their money. We have created a database of Black-owned businesses in Central Indiana to help with that effort. You can find it right now on the WRTV app and WRTV.com. More than a year later, a group is fighting to provide a voice for an 8-month-old girl who disappeared. Amaya Robertson was last seen in March of 2019. Amaya's mother, Amber Robertson, reported her daughter missing on March 16th. It was later learned that the infant had not been seen since March 9th. Police have said the baby's disappearance is being treated as a homicide investigation. Today, during a demonstration outside the City County building, a group called for criminal charges in the case. If you have any kind of information about baby Amaya's disappearance, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. You can remain anonymous. Still ahead on the news at 7, a warning about using too much hand sanitizer and why sticking with soap and water might be safer in the long run.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
The IPL building on Monument Circle will be lit up in purple again tonight to mark Overdose Awareness Day. It's a day to acknowledge the grief felt by families and friends whose loved ones have died from a drug overdose. Overdose Awareness Day also spreads the message that the tragedy is preventable. Sunday night, those who lost their lives to an overdose were honored and remembered at the Indiana State Museum. Overdose Lifeline hosted the event, and organizers say they wanted to give grieving friends and family members a place to be together and not feel alone. We talked to a couple who lost their 25-year-old son in June of last year to substance use disorder. A month later, their sister-in-law died from the same thing, and they say they hope to help prevent other families from experiencing the same tragedy.
Erasing the stigma, it never meant as much as it has to us since we've experienced our loss, and now it's become more prevalent to ourselves, seeing how society has stigmatized mental illness and substance abuse now for many, many years, and we're slowly starting to see that be erased, but there's still a lot of work to do, right?
By families not discussing it, they're implying that there's something wrong, there's a flaw, a character flaw with their loved ones, when in fact, addiction and or mental illness, it's a disease.
Right.
It's a brain issue, and we were proud of our son.
Yeah.
He tried very hard, and we're proud of everybody that fights this battle. With this, there's often no care plan. With other diseases, there is a care plan.
And a Lockstone training session was held at this weekend's event. Organizers say it's especially important to know how to use during the COVID-19 pandemic. Hamilton County is the first county in the state to make opioid overdose boxes available to its businesses. Leaders say you'd be surprised to learn just how many overdoses happen in restaurants, businesses, and hotels. We were there today at Schwartz Bait and Tackle, the first business to sign on to the program. The owner says it was a no-brainer to say yes to an effort like this.
Being able to have this here and possibly save a life is a great opportunity.
Each overdose box comes with gloves and 2 doses of Narcan.
Temperatures tomorrow back in the 80s. Our thunderstorm chances will increase as well. We'll talk about the possibility of a few strong to severe storms.
Welcome back. Hand sanitizer has been a major tool during the coronavirus pandemic, but overusing alcohol-based sanitizers could lead to another problem. A British doctor says relying on hand sanitizers rather than just washing your hands with soap and water could create superbugs. The report is published in the American Journal of Biomedical Science and Research. It says alcohol-based hand sanitizers do not kill every type of bacteria or virus. The surviving bugs can then adapt to survive, which makes them stronger and more dangerous. The report says proper hand washing rinses germs off and does not give them a chance to adapt. As students and their families adjust to learning remotely, hotels and resorts are adjusting to bring in their business. Hotels in the U.S. and Mexico are offering what they call schoolcations to families. Hotels and resorts are offering everything from dedicated classroom spaces to private tutors to tech support in some cases. Resorts turn poolside cabanas into work and school spaces. Kevin.
Might be tough to concentrate, right? I don't think I would have done well in that situation. If you're counting 5 as the number, 5 days this month we've had measurable rainfall in Indianapolis, and only 1 out of the last 20 days have we had measurable rainfall. As we go into September, turn the page on the calendar, our probability of rain goes up. Perhaps perfect timing. We could use some widespread rain. Temperatures tomorrow and really the rest of the week will be at or below average. You'll really notice the difference Friday into the weekend. That's when our temperatures will fall into the 70s for highs, and we've even got some mornings in the low 50s across the area. The humidity still noticeable the next couple of days, which is fuel for the thunderstorms. Helps any rainfall become heavy in the sense that it's got a lot of moisture to work with. But we take the humidity out, rain chances down as we go to Labor Day weekend. 83, the magic number tomorrow. Thunderstorms most likely, especially later in the afternoon. I would say in the 4 to 11 p.m. time frame is when they're most likely. Still scattered thunderstorms Wednesday. Our Thursday chance for thunderstorms will decrease a bit. Through the day tomorrow, there's the chance for thunderstorms at your house. Never overwhelming, no guarantee you'll see the thunderstorms, but I'd say between tomorrow and Wednesday, hopefully you'll convert on at least one good downpour. Thursday, temperatures in the low 80s and the humidity is still present. As far as our severe threat tomorrow, main threat would be damaging wind on an isolated basis. I don't think we would have widespread storms. The marginal category is the lowest that the Storm Prediction Center puts out. Temperatures tomorrow, low 80s. Again, the hourly chance for thunderstorms goes up as you go into the afternoon. Timeline, showers and thunderstorms, 4 o'clock, then we go to 7 and then 11. And you see that broken line of showers and thunderstorms, so some spots will be missed. Scattered thunderstorms around, and temperatures as we go through Wednesday will be in the low 80s. Notice the low temperatures as we get to the end of the week. Low temperatures that are now upper 60s to around 70 will be in the low 50s outside of Indianapolis Saturday morning. Wouldn't be surprised to hear from a couple folks that get into the upper 40s. Then as we go through Labor Day weekend, beautiful Saturday and Sunday, slight chance for some showers and thunderstorms on Labor Day itself. Amanda?
Thanks, Kevin. Tonight, an Indianapolis teenager whose brother was found dead 2 years ago is turning her pain into purpose. WRTV's Nicole Griffin is showing us tonight how the tragedy sparked a passion in her and the reward she is now receiving.
He endured a brutal death. I'll just say that. Very, very, very brutal.
In January of 2018, Trayvon Mann was found dead at 42nd and Post Road. His mother says he was just 19 years old and a young father.
He was shot 8 times in the head, 2 in the chest. Every bone in his face was broken. All his teeth was pulled out, and he was set on fire. He was unrecognizable. We had to recognize him by his hand tattoos.
Since his death, Trayvon Mann, his younger sister, has been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and PTSD.
We thought like the same thing was going to happen to me. We was getting a lot of calls and stuff like that, telling me I was going to be next and stuff like that. So it really took a toll on me.
Despite no arrest in the case, Trayvon was determined to push forward. She moved to a new school and had a successful high school basketball career. She's now a freshman at Indiana State University, majoring in criminal justice and criminology.
I took that route specifically because of my story, because of my brother, and I know like what happened to him. I wanted to know like, why did this happen to him? Like, what made those people do this to him?
Because of her determination, she was awarded a scholarship for $2,000 from Purpose for My Pain, an organization created by Deandra Dykes, whose son was shot when he was 13 years old.
You don't find too many African-American women in criminology or in the police field or anything like that. So for her to choose a field like that in honor of her brother, I'm excited.
Trayvon is the very first recipient of the When Life Gives You Chocolate, Make Hershey Scholarship Fund. That is a saying Deandra's son Dre used to say before he was shot. Since he can't go to college himself, Deandra wants to help other families impacted by gun violence achieve their dreams. Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
Central Indiana families are facing new challenges when it comes to sending their kids back to school. That's why the If You Give a Child book campaign from our parent company, EW Scripps, is so important this year. It's an annual drive led by the Scripps Howard Foundation and Scripps employees and family members. Over the last 4 years, the campaign has donated more than 352,000 new books. Now, for the first time, we are opening up the effort to everyone. Donations will be accepted through Friday, September 11th. Just go to WRTV.com/giveabook. You can find more info in this story at WRTV.com. Kevin.
Temperatures tomorrow back where they were today. The difference are rain chances are higher both tomorrow and on Wednesday. We'll move into the low 80s in the afternoon with the scattered thunderstorms. If you need the rain, I hope you get the rain tomorrow. If not, should be Wednesday. Amanda?
All right. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for making WRTV your choice for news. Our next newscast is tonight at 11.